I'm assuming there's a reason why dichotomies exist, right? Is there, like, it seems like there's a reason why we've broken up black and white and good and bad. Any number of these different things, we've kind of broken up into pieces to do something. So what are your thoughts about why dichotomies exist and why they're so prevalent in our society right now?
I think on a certain level, like this idea of having a dichotomy where you are trying to understand something and you separate it into pieces and say like this part is black and this part is white, this is something that can be useful when we're trying to understand the world around us, because when you look around, everything is not exactly the same. I think on a certain level, being able to separate things into pieces and look at them and try and understand them better is useful. And I think that somewhere along the line, like that was a tool that we needed to be able to divide and like categorize things in order to understand the characteristics of each. But at some point, we decided to take it to an extreme and think that everything can be reduced and simplified down to sort of like this either or like dichotomy. Like you're either wrong or you're right. It's either black or it's white. It's either, you know, domestic or foreign. We're either like religious or not religious, or we are liberal or conservative. Like they impose all these things and make it seem like that's how complicated everything is. Like nothing is that complicated. It's either one thing or it's something else. So at some point in society, we took things to an extreme with forming these dichotomies and breaking things down, separating them in order to try and understand them better. And what happened was now we've cultivated this environment where you tend to look at things as being overly simple, as being either like one thing or it's defined opposite. So either you're black or you're white, or you're liberal or you're conservative, or you're wrong or you're right. You succeed or you fail. You're religious, you're not religious. Like there's God or there's no God. Like this is the kind of like environment there is, and that's the story that you see played out in all kinds of arenas. So whether you're looking at like comics, like you were talking about before, where there's these heroes and villains where everything that the hero does is right because he's the good guy, and everything the villain does is bad because he's the bad guy. And like nothing they do has any purpose other than to like harm people. Like their sole purpose in existence is like do wrong to others.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Just as the idea that people who work for good like are completely flawless and have no like blemishes on their character, no areas they need to grow and so on. And so when you start taking that kind of a simplistic view of reality and applying it to like the way we view society and we interact with each other, it creates some problems. So like if you look at the stories played out on the news, in a sense, it's like you're the liberal or conservative, and like if you're liberal, then you have to believe in all of these things, and that's like one position you have to choose. This is your position, or you can be a conservative and then you have to believe in all of these things, and like that's your position. Like you have to accept all of it. If you don't want to be a part of those, then you have to become an independent, in which case you can vote how you like, but you can't participate in primaries, you can't participate. But then also when you look at them, even if we put it on a spectrum and say that it's not so simple, not so black and white, that there's gray or whatever, the points that they are on the spectrum are also not very far apart, even though we treat them like they're polar opposites.
Oh man, you had to bring that into this. Really?
Yeah. So let me tell you all this story. Man. So last night I was sitting on my other porch with with my boy Oak and a few other people, and one of our friends was showing us some photos of some fish that he had caught, and they had teeth, right? So he wasn't trying to do the regular thing where you just like hold on to them and pull the hook out, because they could have done some damage, tore up a little bit of flesh. Like they had teeth like that, you know, like kind of teeth. So Oak was asking how did he get the hooks out. So he was like, what did you know, like throw them in the bucket, drown them, kind of thing. And, you know, our friend was so quick with the wit on his feet and was like, no, I'm gonna have to be honest with you, Oak. I'm not entirely sure you could drown a fish. And it was brilliant. Oh my goodness.